Yes, it's actually page 300. The last two words of page 300. Okay. So in top page Sif Gimel. Yesh misanim Gimel Yomim Zeichel Hanes Esther. Right? Esther herself fasted 3 days. Right? She fasted 3 days. So some have the minhag of fasting 3 days to remember the fast that Esther did. 3 days. Says the Mishnah Berurah Kotten Ches Gimel Yomim Pirish Bahav Achar Purim. That means it's referring to the Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Monday after Purim.
After Purim.
Yeah, after Purim. The Monday, Thursday, Monday after Purim. Some people have this minhag. Not aware of anyone that does it, but apparently there is such a minhag.
But she fasted after Purim as well? Is that what we understand?
No, when did she actually fast? She actually fasted on Pesach.
That's what I thought.
But we're not going to fast on Pesach, are we? Because we can't fast on Pesach.
Right. So, this is always a confusion for me.
Right.
The battle was fought at the time of Purim.
Right.
Right. Her fasting was 11 months before or 1 month after?
No, 11 months before.
Before she went to the king.
Yes.
Is that what that fast was?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. She went into the king on Pesach.
Right.
And then they had to wait until 11 months later until the
decree was annulled.
Right. The decree was for Adar.
So the fast that we're doing is a pre-battle fast?
Right, that's what we mentioned.
It's not.
It's
right. Not her fast.
That's right. What we mentioned was that the fast is because when they went to battle, they would fast and daven to Hashem, and it's supposed to remind us that whenever we're in a tzora, we have to do teshuvah, daven, and fast.
So this fast is connected to the battle. It's not connected to her fast, really.
Right.
Although it's called the fast of
Right.
Esther.
Though it is the same idea, because her fast as well is the same idea that if you're in a tzora, if you're in a case of distress, you fast and do teshuvah and daven to Hashem. It is the same idea.
Right.
Yeah, the same idea. Let's have a look at the carry on in the middle of the Mishnah Berurah Ches. When Adar starts, then we increase in joy. Someone who has a court case with a goy, it's a good idea to fix it for Adar when we have good mazel. The people of a city can make an agreement between them. And a chayrim on anyone who doesn't do it, Purim, to make their own personal Purim, in this case it's a communal Purim, on the day when the nace happened. If a nace happened for a certain city, they can make their own Purim. And also an individual as well. If a nace happened, Purim, someone who nace happened to him. And then when in a year when there's a leap year, then he has to make, when there's an extra Adar, 2 Adars, he has to make his own personal Purim in the second Adar. Unless the nace happened to him in a year when there were 2 Adars, and it happened in the first Adar, in which case his Purim should be in the first Adar. The idea here is that every individual also has to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every time something, if a person is saved in a miraculous way, one has to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One can make one's own personal Purim each year to celebrate a particular event.
And I think there were community Purims.
There were community Purims, yeah,
throughout the world in different communities.
Right, yeah, there were community Purims. We had the Chai Odom here. I drew that to you. The Chai Odom. He writes about his own personal Purim. At the end of Hilchos Purim, I think it is. He writes about his own personal one. How there was I think it was a gas explosion in his town, or something happened, and the whole town went up in. He lost. I think he even lost a child. I think he lost one of his daughters. But it was a miracle that the rest of them were saved. The Chai Odom, and with Ram Danzig. So he writes there about how he fixed the Purim for. Okay, let's continue. Simon Tov Reish Pei Zayin. Chiv Kriyas HaMegilla V'Oi Beis Ifim. Aleph. Chayav Adam Likros HaMegilla Balaylo V'Lachzor L'Shanois Bayoyim. person we have to read the Megillah at night, and then to read it again in the morning. Shalaylo zmano kol halaylo. Shalyom zmano kol hayoim. The time of the evening Megillah reading is the whole night, and the time of the morning Megillah is the whole day. From sunrise ad soif hayoim until the end of the day. If you read it from daybreak, then he's yotze. This is the halacha by all day mitzvahs. That lechatchila the day mitzvah starts from should be after sunrise. But the Eved, if one can't do after sunrise, but the Eved one's yotze if he does it after daybreak. Sunrise, we mentioned, is when the sun starts rising above the horizon, when you start seeing the actual sun. And Amud HaShachar is a machloek exactly when it is. 72 minutes before sunrise, but depending according to the period of the year. We mentioned this, that it depends according to the time of the year, it changes. In the times of the equinox, they take it 72 minutes, and then it varies according to the time of the year.
Isn't it described as when you can recognize your friend?
No, that's a different. That's different. Share. Yeah, that's the share for talis and tefillin. That's called mishiyakir.
I see.
That's the halacha mishiyakir. That's in the middle. Mishabur of cotton aleph. Likois hamegillah balaylo. Mishas teis hakichovim. It's from the time of teis hakichovim. When that's when we see 3 stars in the sky, that's the earliest time to read the Megillah. We'll see when we get there that there is an option to read earlier, perhaps from Plaga Mincha for someone who needs to. We'll see when we get there. Sif Cotton, but the main zman is after Teis HaKichovim. Sif Cotton Beis V'lachzor L'Shanesu B'Yoyim Zeichel Aneis HaYotzakim B'mei Torosom Yoyim V'Laylo. To remember the nays that they cried out in their distress both by day and night. That's why we read the Megillah both day and night. So we've got Gimel Kol Halaylo and Amud HaShachar. The latest time for reading the nighttime Megillah is daybreak. Right? So the night Megillah should be read by a daybreak. That's the latest time. If you didn't read it before this, then after daybreak, between daybreak and sunrise, you can't read the Megillah. Right? You can't read the night Megillah, it doesn't count. We mentioned that, but the Eved Megillah, so the day Megillah during that period, but the night Megillah one can't. Right? After Alos HaShachar, it's halachically day.
So in principle, you could do the 2 readings almost together, maybe with a 5-minute break.
Right. The second Megillah would be a b'diavad, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yes. Now the question is, if after daybreak it's halachically day, so why can't one lechatchila read the Megillah from daybreak? Right, you mentioned the night Megillah can only be read until Alos HaShachar, until daybreak, because at daybreak is now daytime, the end of the night is now day. So if so, why can't one read the day Megillah? Why does one have to wait until sunrise to read the day Megillah? Right. So that's what the Mishnah discussed in Nancy Cotton Talad. Because daybreak is very difficult to ascertain exactly when it is. It's very difficult to see when the first rays start coming up. Whereas the Neitz HaChama is a very distinctive time. It's clear for everyone. Everyone can see the actual body of the sun rising. Therefore, Chazal said, with all the mitzvahs that happen that are supposed to take place during the day, Chazal said the Chatchila wants to do it from sunrise, so that no one will make a mistake.
Sunrise is the beginning, the first beginning of the sun itself.
That's right. When the sun itself starts rising, we said it's slightly different to the secular sunrise. We mentioned secular sunrise is when the middle of the sun crosses the horizon, whereas the halachic sunrise is when the beginning of the sun starts rising. It's different of about 2 minutes. Depends on time of year. Sif Kodon Hey Ad Soif Hayoim Hainu Shkias HaChama. So the end of the day, when's the end of the time of the day reading? The end of the time of the day reading is Shkias HaChama, is when the sun sets. And if you read it until Bein HaShmoshos, then you read it without the bracha. So between Bein HaShmoshos is the twilight period. That's the period between sunset and the stars coming out. this time of day is Sofik Yom Sofik Laila, and therefore one should not read either Megillah reading during that Ben Hashmoshes period. The day reading should be finished. We'll start with the night reading first. The night reading should be started after Seisach Yechovim, and the day reading should be finished before Shkia, before the sun sets. If one didn't read it before sunset, one can read it and should read it after sunset. But seeing as it's a period of Sofik, one should not make a bracha on the Megillah. In
all these calculations, we're talking about the beginning of the Megillah or the end of the Megillah?
We're talking about the whole Megillah. The whole Megillah should be read.
You have to complete it prior to sunset in principle. Right. Okay.
Sivkot and Vav, Yotza. Here we're talking about if you read the Megillah after Amud HaShachar, right, after daybreak. Yotza. If it's a case of oines, then even Lechatchila can read Mishal Amud HaShachar. It's a case of an oines. Maybe he has a flight. There's no way he can read it after his Sachar, so it's fine. He can read it after Alois HaShachar. Sif base. Let's go back to the Shulchan Aruch. Sif base. Mevatlim Talmud Torah Lishma Mikra Megillah. Kal v'chomer l'shar mitzvah shel Torah. And one should even stop learning in order to hear the Megillah. Someone who learns all day, all night, he should stop learning in order to hear the Megillah. And kol shekein she'ar mitzvahs are pushed off in order to hear the Megillah. Shekulom nidchim ibnei mikra Megillah. They're all pushed off to hear in order to hear the Megillah reading. Ve'in lechodova shenidchem mikra Megillah mipolav. There's nothing which Mikra Megillah is pushed over, and nothing pushes Mikra Megillah. Chutz memeis mitzvah she'ein lekovim. The only thing that pushes it away is a meis mitzvah she'ein lekovim. A dead person who dies and there's no one to deal with his burial. Then the people who deal with his burial, this is more important than hearing Megillah.
So a bris is pushed off hours, I guess.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. No days.
Kadei she'ein lekovim. Chuz mitzvah she'ein lekovim kadei token. Shapagea by koivoi tchila v'achar kach koiri. Someone who finds this meis mitzvah, he has to first bury the meis mitzvah, and afterwards he should hear the Megillah. Hagor says the Gemara. This is referring to where he has time to do both mitzvahs. We're just discussing which one he does first. If you can't do both, it's either or. Right? So let's say he's now half an hour before sunset, and he can either do Mikra Megillah or the other mitzvah. Then no mitzvah deraisa is pushed off by the Megillah. If he only has half an hour left in the day, and it's the choice either doing a mitzvah deraisa or doing Mikra Megillah, then the mitzvah deraisa takes precedence over reading the Megillah, because the Megillah is not a deraisa. Mitzvah only comes first if there's time to read the Megillah afterwards. If there's no time to read the Megillah afterwards, then there's no time to read the Megillah afterwards, then he reads the Megillah first and then he does the mitzvah afterwards.
So that means that you would push off the burial in that situation to the next day.
One would push off the burial, right?
Because we don't bury people after dark. Right?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think that's also what's implied here, right? By the Ramah. Right?
He says one does it afterwards.
There's a mitzvah which is coming over right now. Says precedent over the reading of the Megillah.
He says one does
only
the mitzvah
applies
afterwards.
when one will be able to read the Megillah subsequently. That's the English translation.
Right. Then the Megillah you can't do after that. The Megillah you're going to lose out on, because the Megillah if you do the Meis Mitzvah now, half an hour before sunset, if you do the burial, then you're going to lose the Megillah, because the Megillah you can't do after sunset. So the Megillah you're going to lose. So because of this, you have to do the Megillah first and the Meis Mitzvah afterwards. The question is, when do you do the Meis Mitzvah afterwards? You mentioned that you can't do afterwards, you have to wait till the next day. I'm not sure if that's true. It could be there's a minhag in some places. I don't think it's true everywhere.
Okay, so you don't think it's a
in
halacha?
Yerushalayim they measure after dark.
Ah, okay.
In Yerushalayim they're very. I think they do. I'm not 100% sure, but I think could be there certain places where they have the minhag not to. I don't know. Okay, let's have a look at the Mishnah Berurah Sif Koton Zayin. Sif Koton Zayin. Mevalim Talmud Torah v'chula. Rotzaloyma. After Talmud Torah, Shokol Keneged Kol HaMitzvahs. Even though Talmud Torah is equal with all is equal like all the other mitzvahs together. We say Talmud Torah Keneged Kulon. It's a very, very important mitzvah. We had a learning of 100 people were learning together. They were learning in a house of Beis Medrash. They have to be mevatel and they have to go and read it, the Megilla, together with the whole tzibur because of Beroiv Om Hadas Melech. One should have the more people will have it in a Megillah reading, the more honor it is for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore these people learning in a house, they should go to the shul to hear the Megillah. Even though it involves Bittul Torah, that they have to leave the house and go to the shul. Says the Chai Adam, however, someone who generally davens all year, he has a certain minyan, that's his minyan kavod, he always davens there. He doesn't have to go to the big shul. Right? They have a small minyan in the Beis Medrash, and they can daven there, and they don't have to go to a shul. He mentions, if we have a look at the Sharatzin at the bottom here, the Sharatzin is Cotton Yud, right? Minus 3 lines from the bottom. The Sharatzin, this is also the Mishnah Berurah, written by the Mishnah Berurah himself, he writes that he feels that this is only if the place where they daven is also a Beis HaMedrash. It's just a small Beis HaMedrash with a small minyan. In this case, the Mishnah Berurah is saying that seeing as, if they're saying the same Chai Adam, in this case, one can daven in his regular minyan in his Beis HaMedrash. One doesn't have to go to the big shul where the rest of the town are davening to hear the Megillah. But Ashmi'in on the Ein Mechuv Leilech Beis HaKnesset HaGdolah, he doesn't have to go to the big shul. The Oto Kobot HaKnesset K'tanis Sheish Be'il Mechuyovim Kulam Leilech Beis HaKnesset HaGdolah. We're not going to say that all the small shuls in town all have to cancel the minyanim and all go to the big shul in town. Someone who's got a minyan in his home, even though it's kavua, they daven every week in his home. In this case, the small minyan at the home, they should cancel the minyan and they should go to the big shul in town in order to do the minyan, in order to do the Megillah because of Pesach Minisah, because of Beroiv Hadas Melech. Okay, let's continue. Mishnah Berurah Sif Koton Ches. Kedei Torah Miloshen Zed Mochach Tav Shebe'er Sheyesh Lekoivin Teshuv Einoi Mutter Bebezoyim Vazvizis Lekoivoi Koidem Rakse Sefes Koveloi Afilu Hochi Mutter Lak Dimo Koidem Mikro Megillah. He says that it says in the Ramah adds a few words here. She'ein lekovim kedei tzorko. It has 2 extra words. That the Meis Mitzvah hasn't got enough people to bury him according to what he needs, according to his needs. Right. So the Mishnah Berurah is wondering why does the Ramah add these 2 words kedei tzorko? And he says that from here it shows that even if there's no bizoin, it's not that we're going to leave the dead body unattended. There are people who are dealing with the burial. Even so, if the extra people would add extra honor to the burial, and then one should put it before Mikra Megillah. Mutter lakdim kodim Mikra Megillah. Chein mashma b'hagol sof tofen shtadivav. Tisvile dekruas meisoi koidem. Ava b'mogravom hevi b'shem kama poskim tisvile dafka meisoi. It's a mamish shemitoi basod shemutter b'bezoin she'ein lo kovim klal. The mogravom holds it's only if we're talking about a dead body who's lying with literally no one to deal with the burial. Right? The Mogravam holds only if there's no one to deal with the burial. In a city where you have people who are dealing with it, the Chavra Kadisha who are dealing with the Meis Mitzvah, then the Megillah comes first. Unless it's a Talmud Chacham, with the Talmud Chacham, then the Kavura of the Talmud Chacham comes before reading the Megillah. Chen Hiskim B'Bir Hagola Halacha, or Chen Kosav, and the Grov, the Vilna Gaon holds this way, or Chen Kosav She'im Hischilu L'Tzioi, Ein Mafsikin Be'emtza. If, however, they already started the Levaya, then they shouldn't stop it in order to read the Megillah. If they started dealing with a dead body, and then they shouldn't stop in order to read the Megillah, even if they realize that there won't be time afterwards to read the Megillah. Once they've started doing the Kavura, they should continue. Let's continue.
Does that mean that they might? We're talking about a situation where people might miss the Megillah reading.
In this case, you're talking about even if one misses the Megillah reading. Right. If I've already started doing the burial, one should continue. You know,
it's black and white, but it's such a strange psychological problem. If you think about it, I'm saying you're burying a loved one, which is a time of grief, right? And then, you know, a moment later, you're into this ecstatic joy, the simcha of Megillah reading. You know, by the way, it happens again at Tisha B'Av. When there's a bris at Tisha B'Av, you have the same switch. You know, it's a time of mourning and then a time of great elation. You know, at the time of the bris, right? And you know, it's a statement about.
It shows how we have to be controlled. The Torah demands that we be completely in control of our emotions.
That's right.
It happens even more often than that. It happens on Shabbos. Anytime when there's a person dies on Shabbos, and there's no Avilas on Shabbos, they have to continue with the Simcha of Shabbos as normal. And then the period of mourning starts only on they can start crying only on Motzei Shabbos.
There was a year in which there was a tragedy here in Israel. Actually, it happened many years in a row, but this was a terrible one. And in Toronto, there was a very serious discussion among the Rebbeim whether to suspend the Simcha of Purim. And the Rebbeim decided not to suspend it. Purim is Purim, and we're required to, you know, be Simcha Day. And I remember the experience vividly. Throughout Purim, my Rav was very, very joyous. Clown costume, it was. And as he got to the end of the Su'udah, right, he fell apart. Like, the kind of switch happened, you know. As he was going to Marav, it all came back to him. And he just controlled. You know, it was the children had been killed here at the time. And it was just everybody. It is exactly what you said, is that we are responsible to make those changes in our emotions, you know, as is fitting of the moment by Hashem. You know, it's a very strange phenomenon.
Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay. Okay, let's try and finish.
Yeah.
Mish was called test, but Ike Shahus V'Chula. What in Mila or Megilla? Ike Shahus La'asos Stehen. Megilla could be shown person minutes, as you mentioned in the case of Miss Mila. The Megilla will come first. V'Olam Noagin Lomu Kodem HaMegilla. And the Mishnah mentions that even according to the, strictly speaking, the Megillah should come before the Megillah. He says the Minhag Olam is actually to do the Mila before the Megillah. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
The Minhag is against the strict letter of the law. Okay. Would you like to stop? Can we stop here?
Probably.
Okay, fine.